Tennessee Titans fans, welcome back to the channel. It is time for Tuesday tier rankings. Awful lot of T's in there. Two-Tone Talk Tuesday tier rankings. We are going through here, and we are looking at some of the most iconic, memorable plays in Tennessee Titans history since they became the Tennessee Titans, and we are ranking them. As you can see the tiers, we have best. That is reserved for best of the best. Then there's great, then good, then fine, and then at the bottom we have overrated. Plays in Titans history that I think are a little overrated by the fans. Hope nobody hates me after this. We are starting with, we're going in chronological order. We're going from 99 to today. There were some years in there where there was nothing memorable happening with the Titans, but we've got the Music City Miracle first up, and obviously it has to go to best. I mean, if you're a Titans fan like me, it does get annoying when you see these lists of best Titans plays ever. You already know what number one's always going to be. It's always going to be the Music City Miracle, but just because we've seen it a million times does not make it any less unbelievable and amazing. The Music City Miracle to beat the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round of the playoffs. It will go down in history as one of the most memorable plays of all time, one of the best plays of all time, and it was a lateral, and that's just that. Up next, we have Eddie George and his, I believe, 68-yard touchdown run against the Colts the next week in the divisional round of those same playoffs. And this one, I will go with great. The thing that gets it out of the good category is the fact that it was the playoffs. It was against the Colts, and this was actually the game-winning run. It happened in like the third quarter, but like I think it was the last points scored of that game. So this literally won the game for the Titans. I'm reserving the top category for like best of the best. That's why the Music City Miracle's there. I'm going to put this into the great category. It won the Titans that game pretty much. And, I mean, a 68-yard run by a beast, a guy the size of Eddie George. Get out of here. Derrick Mason in the AFC Championship punt return for a touchdown. I mean, I'm going to want to put all of these in the great category. But I'll give this good. And here's why I won't go any higher than good. Because the Titans dominated the Jaguars in that AFC title game. And yes, you could argue that this punt return after a safety, the Titans had just gotten a safety and then Mason returned the punt for a touchdown. That's a big deal. That's a huge sequence that's hard to come back from. But the Titans just dominated the Jaguars on that day to such a level that you could argue that this punt return, while it did get things started, it wasn't as pivotal as that Eddie George run. So I'm going to put Derrick Mason's punt return for a touchdown in the AFC title game into the good category. Eddie George touchdown run in the Super Bowl. Unbelievable effort. The Titans were down by 2 scores. Eddie just powering through. I'm going to put it in the good category because, as you can see in that picture, his shin was down. This should not have been a touchdown. His shin was down at the 1-yard line. Not the last time the Titans would be down at the 1-yard line in this game. Why am I taking shots at my own team on this video? But I can't go higher than good because it really shouldn't have been a touchdown. It should have been like 2nd and goal from the 1 or whatever. But it was a tremendous effort by Eddie George. And shin was down, but tremendous effort. Steve McNair, speaking of tremendous effort, Steve McNair's play on the final drive to get away from 2 Rams and find Kevin Dyson to set him up for a potential game winner. That's got to go into the best category. I mean, I think when you look at the grand scheme of things, the Titans lost the game. It's a memorable ending. It's an iconic ending with Kevin Dyson on the 1-yard line. I don't know if you see this anymore where the losers of the game are remembered as well as Steve McNair is remembered for this game. The Titans lost, and Steve McNair is still revered for his performance on this drive. Even though they came up a yard short, Steve is remembered as a winner because of how great he was on this drive, and particularly this play, getting away from 2 Rams defenders to find Kevin Dyson to give him a chance on the last play of the game. It is an iconic image. it is something that no matter who you're a fan of, you remember that play if you were watching. And that has to go in the best category. And how many times can you see a game where you lost a heartbreaker, but still it goes into the best category because of just the fight that Steve McNair had? That really summed him up as a player. Up next is Joe Nedney in the divisional round of the playoffs against the Steelers with the Music City Mulligan, where he pretended he got run into when he really wasn't hit that hard, but it gave him another chance at the game-winning field goal, and he hit it. This, I mean, it was an all-time great performance by Joe Nedney to draw that flag. And I got to put it into the great category. This is one of my best memories watching football as a kid was this game. And the drama at the end of this game was something that I don't even think the WWE could put together. Of Nedney making the kick, but the Steelers called timeout. The fireworks go off because the fireworks guy thought the game was over. And then they had to kick it again, and Joe missed it, but they ran into him, and there was a flag, and then he got to kick it again, and the Steelers tried to call timeout, but the ref didn't see it, and he made the kick, and it was over. That's some drama right there. And so this has to go in a great category. Sent the Titans to the AFC Championship game where they ended up losing to the Raiders. But, I mean, Joe Nedney, his name goes down in history for that moment. Awful lot of kickers on this list, by the way. Steve McNair to Drew Bennett to defeat the Texans and seal the Titans' playoff spot. I mean, this, to me personally, some people say I'm ranking this too high. This goes into the best category for me. This was just perfect. The Texans were so bitter at the Titans because they left Houston. And, this was a deal where if the Titans had lost this game, I think they were in severe danger of missing the playoffs. And this was 4th and 10 at Houston. That place was rocking. Titans are just trying to get a first down, and Steve goes deep to Drew Bennett, who catches it for a touchdown. Stadium goes silent. Drew tells him to be quiet. You do not get any better than that. Steve, with ice water in his veins, seals the Titans a playoff spot, sends the Texans fans home miserable. Come on. Gary Anderson making a field goal in the wild card round against the Ravens. This is good. This was good. I mean, look at that helmet. That's what I'm laughing at, is Gary Anderson's helmet. This was good. I mean, he barely made this kick. I mean, it looked like it didn't have a shot when it came off his leg. But he made the kick, gave the Titans the win in the playoffs. They went on to lose to the Patriots the next week. I just don't think this Titans team had that feeling about them that they were going to make it to the end. But Gary Anderson, I mean, he was a much older guy at this time to be in the NFL. It was like a 40-something yarder. He barely made it. This is a good play, good kick. Vince Young defeats the Texans in overtime. I'm not going to go any higher than good with this one. This was a great play, very exciting play. I think it was like 3rd and 18. It gave us, and of course I can't help but look at some of this with hindsight. I mean, this play really convinced a lot of people that Vince Young was going to be the guy for Tennessee. And we obviously know how that turned out. But this was a good play in overtime. It was the game winner, 3rd and 18 in Houston on the road. Great run. He got a great block downfield from, I believe, Justin Gage, if you remember that guy. Good play. I think it's hard not to view it in terms of the fact that the Titans were like 2-6 at this point when Vince made this play. But it gave hope that he could be the guy, kind of set the tone for where the team was going the next few years. Rob Baronis, 60-yard field goal to beat the Colts. I got to put this into the great category, especially when you consider the fact that Rob Baronis is no longer with us, passed away years ago. And although this was the same season as that Vince Young touchdown run, what puts this in the great category is that, this was the Titans beating Peyton Manning's Colts, which we didn't do a whole lot of that. We didn't beat Peyton Manning a whole lot, but especially after Steve left. And so this was kind of like the Titans Super Bowl for that year. They were young. It was a real turnaround year. And at home, Rob Baronis with a 60-yard field goal to beat Peyton Manning. I mean, come on. That was as good as that Titans team was going to get. Vince Young to Kenny Britt on the last play of the game to beat Arizona after the 99-yard drive to get down there. I thought about going overrated just because the Titans were so bad. But I can't put it in the fine category because that downplays it. I'm going to go good. Some people think this was just the greatest thing. It was a tremendous drive. It was great. I don't know. I can't not factor in how bad of a team the Titans were. This was good because it gave the Titans fans something to cheer about when there was really nothing good going on with the organization at that time. I mean, a 99-yard drive, you win on a walk-off on the last play of the game. I get it. It was something to get excited about in an era of Titans football where there really wasn't a lot. This was the beginning of kind of the dark ages. So I am tempted to go overrated just because, like, in Titans history, people talk about this play like it was the greatest thing they've ever seen. And it was really like, what was this, like our fourth win of the season? And it was like December. But I'll give it good. Chris Johnson, 89-yard touchdown run against the Jaguars. I don't know if this was this the year he went for 2K? I don't think so. I mean, the Jaguars were bad. The Titans were bad. I'm sorry, I'm going to go overrated. I'm going to go overrated. I think that it sucks because Chris Johnson was such an electric, great player, and he was just on the Titans team at a time when we sucked. I mean, for the most part, with the exception of that first year he was here where we were the number 1 seed, he was so electric and he went for 2,000 yards, but the teams he was on were so bad. And he was in Nashville. God, I wish he would have come along. I wish he would have been in the league when we were, in the late 2010s, once we had, of course we had Derrick, so I don't even know how that would have worked. But he was just right guy at the wrong time, with the team was so bad. The organization was at such a tough time when he was here. So it's hard for me to look back on those Chris Johnson days with any fondness at all, even though he was such a great player. Marcus Mariota, also with like a 87-yard run at the end of his rookie season. I'm going to say this was overrated too. I can't help but look at hindsight. I know in that moment, it excited a lot of people because it was the last game of his rookie season and it gave people so much hope. You don't see quarterbacks going for 87-yard touchdown runs often. But when you look at it in hindsight, Marcus, we had some good times with Marcus, and I think he was a part of this organization kind of turning things around at that time. He was an exciting player to have because he was the number 2 pick in the draft. And people were excited about what he could bring to the table, and this play helped that. But, nowadays people look back on this play, and it's like, oh, you remember when Marcus had that big... I mean, it was like, we were so awful. It did give hope that he could be that guy, so it is cool that it gave us optimism. But in the grand scheme of things, I got to say it was an overrated play. I mean, we were playing the Jaguars, who were also horrible. And... I think it helped the Titans win that game, which actually got us a worse draft spot. So I'll give that overrated. Ryan Suckup standing on the Arrowhead at Arrowhead to beat the Chiefs. I'm going to give it great. I mean, that was... The Titans ended up missing the playoffs on this season, but this was the biggest win the Titans had in years. Because the Chiefs were good, and it was on the road. Nobody thought the Titans had a chance. And for the Titans to go and win that game, yes, they ended up missing the playoffs. But, I mean, the next year, I think 2 years later, the Titans were in the AFC title game. Then they had those years where they won the division. I mean, this was, I still think, a pivotal moment for the Titans because it showed that they could actually beat good teams on the road in December when it was, getting playoff time. The next week, Marcus broke his leg and we ended up missing the playoffs. But I think this was a pivotal moment in the grand scheme of things because the Titans were still viewed as like that team who wins 2 games every year. They're always terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. And this moment was, in my opinion, the start of that opinion kind of changing. Where it was like, hey, the Titans beat the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were a playoff caliber team. It was freezing cold. Suck Up makes that kick, and the Titans won a game that nobody thought they had any right to even be in. I think that was a pivotal moment. So I'll give that's a great moment. Marcus Mariota stiff arms a Jags defender to get the Titans to the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long. I don't even care what anybody says. This was one of the best. This goes into the best category for me. Probably Marcus's best moment with the Titans. One of the few times where Marcus showed some spunk because he stiff-armed the guy and then he let him hear it a little bit. And this goes into the best category because it punched the Titans' ticket to the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. And I just remember how special of a moment that was for me as a fan. Like, I couldn't believe, like, we're going to the playoffs. Like, are you kidding me? When's the last time we had been able to say that? Nearly a decade at this point. And, it was surreal because that moment kind of sealed it when Marcus stiff-armed the guy and went on to get the first down to end the game. So, yeah, that to me, personally, is a best category. Marcus Mariota throws a touchdown to himself in the playoffs. I'm going to tick some of y'all off. This goes into the overrated category to me. I in the moment, I was going nuts. And it is memorable, and I get it's crazy, it's wacky. He threw a touchdown to himself. But I think it's overrated when you think of Titans fans who look back on this play as like one of their favorite plays. It was a bad throw. I mean, the reason it got batted back to him is because he threw it right into a Chiefs player's hands. It should have been intercepted. But it happened to get batted back to him. And yeah, heads up play when it got batted back to him to take it and score a touchdown. But like, the reason I think it's a little bit overrated is because it's like, dude, it was a bad throw. There should have been picked. And that would have essentially ended the game because we were down by like 3 scores at that point. Kudos to him for a heads-up play. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. Like I said, I was going crazy in the moment when it happened. But like, it's a little overrated because everybody's like, oh man, what a great play. Yeah, I mean, once the ball got batted back to him, yes, he made a great heads-up play. But he was in that position because he threw it right to a Chiefs player. On Madden, it would have been picked. Derrick Henry, 99-yard run. Best. One of the best. I mean, this ushered in that era of Titans football. This was the moment to where Derrick Henry became Mr. Tennessee Titans. This was the beginning. Before this, he was still trading off snaps with Dion Lewis. But after this moment, it was all Derrick Henry for the next 5 years. And so a pivotal moment in Titans history. You don't see 99-yard touchdown runs every day, especially by somebody that big, that strong. So unbelievable. Just asserting his dominance on the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. It's one of the best plays I've ever seen. And like I said, was the beginning of the Derrick Henry era in Nashville. The next play is Josh Kalu blocking the field goal to beat the Chiefs in the 2019 regular season on the last play of the game. I'll put this in the great category. I think that, I mean, the Titans went 9-7. This is the year they went to the AFC title run. So if they would have lost any of the games that they won, even one of them, they would have missed the playoffs. So in that regard, this won them that game. They wouldn't have made the playoffs without this play. But it was a huge, I remember Jim Nantz after it happened saying, this is a signature win for the Titans. Again, one of those moments, and it comes against the Chiefs again, where the Titans won a game nobody thought they were going to win, and it turned their season around. Tannehill became the guy on this day, for better or for worse. The Titans came back after this game and went on a run where they essentially got into the playoffs and then went on a run again in the playoffs. And this play was part of jump-starting it because everybody thought The Chiefs are going to make this field goal. We're going to go to overtime, and the Chiefs are going to finally put them away in overtime. But Kalu perfectly timed the snap, blocked the field goal. Great play. And there you go. Logan Ryan picks off Tom Brady in the playoffs to essentially beat the Patriots. This goes into the best category because of what it meant, not just for the Titans. Not only did it mean the Titans get the win and go on to the next round, but Logan Ryan, of all people, against the Patriots, his former team. This was the end of the Patriots dynasty. This was Tom Brady's last snap. He may have come back out and they tried no, it was the kickoff. So this was it. This was Tom Brady's last snap as a New England Patriot. This was it. All those years. And the Titans were the team to end it. They eliminated Tom Brady. The Tennessee Titans sent Tom Brady packing home from the playoffs. This goes into the best category because of what it meant, not just for the Titans, but for the entire league. Like someday this is going to happen to Patrick Mahomes. Someday this is going to happen to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And you're going to look back and say, that was the moment it ended. We knew it when it happened. The Logan Ryan and the Tennessee Titans just ended the Patriots dynasty. Whoa. Derrick Henry jump pass in the playoffs to help put away the Ravens. I mean, that goes to the best category too. I mean, that was one of the most satisfying nights for me as a Titans fan in history. Beating the Ravens in the divisional round, are you kidding me? That play kind of was when it felt like this isn't going to happen. We're going to do this. What a play. Derrick Henry called himself the next Peyton Manning. The next season, Derrick Henry overtime run to beat the Ravens in the regular season. I'll put that in the good category. I mean, it's a regular season. I mean, it was important because the Titans, I believe, were kind of slacking at that time, and that win was big to get the momentum back going. Yeah, it was a good play. Obviously, Derrick Henry hadn't had a good game that day, and that overtime run was really his biggest run of the game. It was the COVID year. There were no fans in attendance. So I'll put it into the good category. It was a good win. Sam Sloman doinks it in. This was... I can't put it into great. I'm going to put it... This is going to be probably one of the only ones I put into the fine category. He doinked it in. It was fun, and it was like such a relief. But I just remember almost being a little bit bummed out after this game, in spite of the fact that we had just won the division on this crazy field goal, because I just knew we weren't going to go far in the playoffs. Our defense was so bad. We had just gotten carved up by Deshaun Watson and the Texans in this game. The Texans, who had like 4 wins on the year. So I remember as happy as I was like, we're going to be one and done in the playoffs, because our defense was just... We had no pass rush. We had blown a huge lead in this game, so it shouldn't have even come down to this field goal. So it goes in the fine category. Big Jeff gets a big stop on 4th and inches against the Bills. I put this into the great category. I was there live for this game, so I have extra sentimentality toward this play. This was a great play. People say Josh Allen slipped. He slipped because he ran into Jeffrey Simmons, is my take on it. I was there live. Fans went nuts. Like out-of-body experience. Makes me tempted to put it into the best category, but because it was just an early regular season game, I'll put it in great. Kevin Byard, pick 6 against the Rams. I'll put this in the great category too because of what it signified. This was right after Derrick Henry had broken his foot and was out for the year. People had written the Titans off, and the Titans went on the road and just slaughtered the Rams. And that was like such a huge moment because it gave us hope that we could keep winning without Derrick Henry. And Kevin Byard's pick 6 was really the moment that solidified that we were going to dominate the Rams that night. So that goes in a great category. Kevin Byard, also a Tennessee Titans legend. Ryan Tannehill breaks a bunch of tackles to make that throw to Nick Westbrook-Akine against the Texans. I think that'll go into the good category. I mean, it was a huge play because the Titans were about to lose that game. The Texans had come back, and Tannehill was about to get sacked, and we were about to have to punt. And so him breaking all those tackles to hit Westbrook-Akine, essentially save the game. So yeah, good play. Titans were already in the playoffs, but they were in danger of losing the number 1 seed. Maybe we'd have been better off if we'd have just gone ahead and played, when I think of how things turned out. Last but not least, Will Levis with the great touchdown pass to Nick Westbrook-Akine in his debut game. I think it's too early. For right now, I'm gonna go good, but it's so early. Like, I hope that we look back on this someday and put it into the best category, because we could say that was the beginning of the era of the greatest quarterback in history and space and time. But for right now, I'm not going to go any higher than good, because it's still TBD on Will. Let me know what plays I might have missed. Let me know what plays you would have ranked higher, lower, whatever the case may be. Give me some good ideas of what would be a good tier ranking type list to do next Tuesday. God bless you, everybody. Tighten up. Bye.